Have you ever watched someone lose everything over something that looked completely worthless? On a cold morning outside a busy airport, a wealthy CEO laughed as she crushed a tiny copper coin that belonged to a struggling single father. To her, it was just an old penny. To him, it was a promise from his late daughter, a reminder to never give up. What happened next shocked everyone. Within hours, her massive $2 billion aviation deal came to a sudden stop, and she found herself facing a lesson that money could never buy. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartwarming stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Matrez, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us spread more inspiring stories that make the world a little brighter. Michael Carter was a hardworking single father living in a small apartment with his 8-year-old son, Noah. Life had never been easy since Michael's wife passed away several years earlier. He worked long hours as an airport maintenance technician, fixing equipment and cleaning hangars just to keep food on the table. Every dollar mattered, but Michael never complained. He believed that honesty, hard work, and kindness would eventually lead to better days. In his pocket, Michael always carried an old copper penny. It was scratched, faded, and nearly worthless to everyone else. But before his daughter Emma passed away from an illness, she had given him that penny and whispered, "Dad, whenever you feel like giving up, hold this. It will remind you that love is worth more than money." Since that day, Michael never left home without it. Across town, Victoria Sterling was one of the most successful CEOs in the aviation industry. She had built a billion-dollar company and was preparing to sign the biggest contract of her career, a $2 billion aviation partnership that would make headlines across America. She was admired for her business skills but feared for her cold heart. To Victoria, people were valuable only if they could help her succeed. That morning, Victoria arrived at the airport surrounded by assistants, lawyers, and security guards. Everything had to be perfect before the signing ceremony. As Michael hurried across the terminal carrying his toolbox, the old penny slipped from his pocket and rolled across the polished floor. He quickly bent down to pick it up. Before he could reach it, Victoria stepped forward in expensive high heels. The tiny copper coin rested beneath her shoe. Michael politely smiled. "Excuse me, ma'am. That's very special to me. Could you please let me have it?" Victoria looked down, smirked, and said, "You're worried about this dirty old penny?" Without another word, she pressed her heel harder, bending the coin against the marble floor before kicking it away. Her assistants laughed. Michael quietly picked up the damaged penny. His eyes filled with tears, but instead of arguing, he simply said, "I hope one day someone shows you the kindness you're missing." Victoria rolled her eyes and walked away without looking back. Just an hour later, executives from the International Aviation Company gathered inside the conference room. Cameras were ready. Reporters waited outside. Then something unexpected happened. The lead investor received an urgent phone call. His face suddenly changed. The meeting stopped. Within minutes, lawyers were whispering, documents were being collected, and nervous conversations filled the room. The $2 billion deal had been frozen because of concerns about Victoria's company's treatment of employees and several unresolved ethical complaints. Investors wanted to review the company's leadership before moving forward. Victoria was stunned. The celebration she had planned instantly turned into silence. As she walked through the airport, frustrated and embarrassed, she noticed an elderly janitor struggling to push a heavy cleaning cart. Several people ignored him. Then she saw Michael. Even after everything that had happened, Michael rushed over, smiled warmly, and helped the elderly man without expecting anything in return. The old janitor thanked him with tears in his eyes. Victoria stood frozen. The man she had humiliated was still choosing kindness. For the first time in years, she began to question herself. Later that afternoon, Victoria quietly found Michael working in a maintenance hangar. She held the bent penny in her hand. "I asked security to help me find this," she said softly. "I'm sorry." Michael looked surprised but stayed silent. Victoria continued, I've spent my whole life chasing success. Today I realized I've become someone I don't even recognize. She carefully handed him the damaged penny. I'm truly sorry for disrespecting something that meant so much to you. Michael looked at the bent coin, then smiled gently. My daughter used to say that broken things can still carry love. Those simple words broke the wall around Victoria's heart. Over the following months, she began changing her company from the inside out. Employee programs improved. Fair wages increased. Workers were treated with respect instead of fear. She even created scholarships for children who had lost a parent, inspired by Michael's story. The changes didn't happen overnight, but people noticed. Trust slowly returned. Eventually, the investors agreed to continue discussions, not because Victoria was the richest CEO in the room, but because they believed she had become a better leader. The business deal was finally completed, but Victoria often said the greatest investment she ever made wasn't worth billions of dollars. It was learning compassion from a struggling father carrying a worn-out copper penny. Michael never became famous. He continued fixing equipment at the airport and raising Noah with love, honesty, and kindness. Years later, Noah kept the same bent penny in his own pocket, reminding himself that true wealth isn't measured by money, titles, or expensive clothes. It's measured by the way we treat people who can offer us nothing in return. Every single day, we have the chance to lift someone up or tear them down. A kind word, a helping hand, or a moment of understanding can change a life in ways we may never see. The smallest act of compassion often leaves the greatest legacy. Thank you for spending this time with us on Kindness Matres. If this story touched your heart, remember to share kindness wherever you go. You never know whose life you might change, or how one small act of compassion could come back to change your own. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because kindness always matters.